conditions for the evolution of pair bonding and for the evolution of this coalitionary aggression or coalitionary helping are pretty general. And so the question is, if that's the case, why don't we see it more? So why are humans so different? Because it doesn't seem like the models, the conditions are that highly specialized or unusual.
Well, for example, here, to get evolution of helping behavior, right? Alpha, again, right? So you're asking me the question that is extremely important and is very big, and you probably don't really expect me to be able to answer it, because to be able to tell why humans are different, it's like not one Nobel Prize, it's probably like 10 different Nobel Prizes. But in terms of this model, right, let me talk about it, right? So we have alpha has to be big enough, right? So alpha controls the strength of the coalition, and that means that individuals should be able to coordinate their actions against a single target. So this ability to coordinate, that is something that may be linked to cognitive abilities and things like that. In the same way, this parameter sigma that controls the ability to evaluate the strength of individuals, right? Again, if your precision in your estimations is low, not much will happen. So again, I can link both alpha and sigma to cognitive abilities in a sense, and the evolution of increased abilities and intellectual power potential. Maybe it can be linked also to the invention of weapons somehow. Yeah.
What about pair bonding? Why don't we see more pair bonding?
Well, I don't remember that model anymore. You know? Well, in a sense, I don't know. I can only speculate, right? So the whole thing starts when guys at the bottom, right, in this scenario, they start feeding females, and that's maybe to get mating, and that may be kind of, well, you have to be smart, and also it may be dangerous strategy initially, and things like that. And when it's coevolution of male and female traits. So it's, I don't know. Yeah, actually, well, the whole motivation for me to get into this project on pair bonding was after I read Lovejoy paper a couple of years ago on these new fossils that we discovered, because a few years ago I had a paper on Machiavellian intelligence and on the social brain hypothesis. And that model was to predict growth and intelligence that started like 500,000 years ago. And at that model, it was competition for mating success between males that was the driving force. The logic was that males who are smart and who reach high social status, they would have high reproductive success and then more offspring, and that would complete kind of the circle. But when I came across Lovejoy paper, if we accept their data, this transition happened not like 500,000 years ago, not 200,000 years ago, but like 4 million years ago. So I was really looking at the potential to resolve this dilemma and to accomplish the transition long time ago. So actually acting in animals, not humans, without culture, without anything. So.
So one of the things in the lesson, perhaps I missed it when you said the importance of group size, but if there's a bullying event going on and there's a number of observers observing it at the same time, like suppose myself, Rob, and Roberto here all see bullying, isn't it to my advantage to wait for one of them to take on the bullying?
Yeah, well, that's what I mentioned, that there are some new things. Yeah, so what I've done, I've also done a model where I allow for not one but two helpers. And as you just said, yeah, there is incentive for free riding,
Yeah.
but it's overcome by the advantages. And the advantages here increase in the probability of success and a reduction in the costs that individuals are paying. So at least in that model, with not one but two helpers, it still pushes the helping behavior further.
And in the pair bonding one, did you include sort of cheaters, so males that can convince females that they will invest, but they don't, and females that convince males they will be monogamous, but they aren't?
Well, in a sense, it's captured implicitly all. Yeah, well, the pair bonds are formed stochastically, so this preference function, it just gives the general tendency. So there are always these matches. The correlation between provisioning and faithfulness is not absolute. It's relatively small. But as we know from all population genetics theory, like even a relatively small advantage, like 1% or 0.1% would be sufficient. So
I'm probably being very stupid, but it seems to me that your model is one of the world according to Marx and Engels, whereas it seems to me that the real world is one of Stalin and Putin.
yeah, I don't know. We're not going to argue about that. Yeah. Yeah, well, as I said, like 4 million years ago, I don't think we had Putin or Stalin, right? At least like the group sizes were much smaller. Yeah.
Have you played around at all with variation in female qualities, the way you have with male qualities, in terms of being able to either attract more mates or...
No, I haven't. So what I was trying to do, yeah, I was, in a sense, like, there was that question here, like the male on top of the hierarchy would produce offspring that may happen to be at the bottom of the hierarchy. So I kind of was assuming that all genetic changes towards becoming stronger have been already achieved. So the same kind of, I was treating females. The only variation that has been allowed so far is variation in faithfulness in the ability. Yeah. But that's, again, I think it's one of the potential generalizations described in the grant proposal.
In terms of the egalitarian tribe, you mentioned Christopher Bohm. You're probably aware of his older book, Hierarchy in the Forest.
Yeah.
Yeah, and there, and that might be an interesting thing to explore, he says that it seems that the strength of the egalitarian tribe, or at least its success, follows over human, both evolutionary and cultural history, a U-shape, in which with gorillas and chimpanzees you have less egalitarianism than with foragers. You have more, but then when you have complex societies, then you have less again.
Yeah.
So do you have any comments on that?
Well, again, here the whole goal was to look at the particular transition in one direction. So it's not like the model that would, I do not, have not even tried to build models for emergence of the inequalities and hierarchies from the egalitarian society. But you can speculate, for example, like, I don't know, if there are some new weapons or the possibility to control a particular resource where you can prevent coalitions of 2 or 3 against you, when it would change the dynamics, right? So if some individuals can absorb particular resources, but I mean, it's a big field, and there is now a lot of interest in the emergence of inequalities and hierarchies. Yeah.
Okay, we're out of time. Thanks.